Jennifer, I would love to see you being cooking with the pros and cooking for like a foundation for like maybe Kevin Turner, and you putting a cook out there for a foundation, or just to help out other players like Scott Lefko, Penn State guy, good friend of mine, very good friend of the show. Brain cancer, 20 years, he beat it. He got it again. So now he's really feeling slow. The chemo and the radiation has gotten to Scott, who's a really wonderful, wonderful gentleman. He only played 1 year for the Eagles in '73, but still, he's a wonderful man. And that guy is struggling right now. Earl Campbell is struggling right now, along with Jim Brown. They're all struggling. These guys are hurting right now, and the NFL is doing nothing for them. Nothing for them. $1 billion industry. They say with the collective bargaining agreement, when it's up, the league will be worth $20 billion. $20 billion. That's so many hundreds of millions of dollars. And you can't tell me that you can't pick up it's like going to dinner and Donald Trump not picking up the tab. Come on, it's nothing for these. You could take $1 billion of it and you'd have money left over for sure if you'd help out the athletes and donate it to science research to help Steve Smith. Here's a guy that can't move a muscle but his eyes. 9 years for the Oakland Raiders. Brian Gumbel did a big story on that, Real Sports. And then, you see, what happened was, Tinsman, in 2007, discovered there was a bacteria in your brain that was leaking through your whole body and just killing all your nerves, almost like ALS. So, they didn't want to really take him serious. Why didn't they want to take him serious? They're going to hurt the game of football if they do that. So now, he got this other doctor to get involved with him, and she verified what he's doing, that he was on the right track. Once they broke that story about 2 years ago on Real Sports again, that's when they start taking the concussion seriously. It ended Troy Aikman's career. It ended Steve Young's career, both in the Hall of Fame. It ended Brett Lindros's brother, of Eric Lindros. 2 games he played in the NHL, and that was it. Yeah, it was concussion, and it was over. So they gave him an announcing job for the New York Islanders because he was picked by them. And Eric Lindros from Philadelphia's own, he suffered multiple concussions.
Yes.
Now, Junior Seau, they say he suffered over 140 concussions during his career. That's rearranging the furniture just a little bit too much. Don't you think?
I've had 4 of them, and that's like, there's days where you struggle with certain things. You got to think that that's why. And I've had 4 of them. I can't imagine 140.
140, and they're
that's
taking
insane.
it lightly.
I wouldn't be able to tie my shoes.
Blair, you being a former ball player, and Lee, you being a former ball player, I'm sure you guys had to go through concussions.
Oh yeah, but the concussion test was different back then.
Tell us about the concussion.
They threw up a couple fingers, and
that was it.
Okay,
everything was 2 all the time, right? Lee, did you have concussions?
Absolutely, knocked myself out a few times.
Really?
Yeah. Well, free safety tackling,
right.
Jerome Bettis and Tyrone Wheatley. Absolutely.
Oh man, what 2 good running backs they were? Tyrone Wheatley from Michigan and Bettis out of Notre Dame.
I'll tell you what. I have to say this. Coach Paterno's philosophy was our practices should be tougher than our games.
Really?
And
nice.
Before we played Bettis and Wheatley, we had to tackle Blair Thomas, Gary Brown, Richie Anderson, Shelly Hammonds, Kajana Carter. So when you talk about some of these other guys, practices were harder than games.
Were you just a one-sport athlete, or did you play other sports?
In high school, I played football,
baseball,
basketball, and track.
And
just like Blair, anything more than 400 meters, I wasn't right? Wasn't happening.
Right. And for you to get health coverage, it's almost impossible for you to get it without paying a gigantic premium.
Well, yes, because of the trauma that I went through.
Right.
The body
You're
parts.
a risk.
But there are some programs out there helping guys that need knee replacement, hip replacements, or things of that nature. But with the concussion, that's a big thing now. And actually, there's a big lawsuit going on now where a lot of former players are suing the NFL.
Right.
Just saw that.
Yeah.
Jamal Lewis, Dorsey Levens,
Blair Thomas.
Yeah. Well, you're going after a civil suit?
Yes, it is.
Right. Yeah, you have to have a conglomeration of a lot of players going for that civil suit, and I hope you win it, because I think that all players, good, bad, or indifferent, great players, not such a great player, but played and put that uniform on, which is probably the toughest thing in the world to do. It's not easy to go play football, especially in today's football. Blair, guys are like Brandon Jacobs, a running back. He's a 270. Okay, 270. The guy, he's running over you, and back in the day, if you were 270, Art Donovan, remember him? Nobody.
Oh,
yeah. His nickname was called Fatso. He was 270. They called him Fatso. He went to the Hall of Fame. Now a running back is 270. So the game has completely changed, and the concussions are a big part about it. And Steve Smith, I think you played with Steve, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you know his story, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We talked about it last week, and
Right.
that's what we was raising money last week for the Kevin Turner Foundation.
Right.
Same scenario, same results.